It is another Tuesday in New Eden. Here is your bite-sized weekly dose of New Eden news, tips, and information. Blex pricing has remained pretty level after the respec bump, still holding at the 380k mark. Reavers of the Outer Rim Pirates Alliance unanchored their station to relocate it. It ended up relocated faster than they anticipated when OG Empire beat the owners to the punch and simply picked it up. Free stations are the best stations. This is the first known outright station theft in Echoes. There was a 1,000-pilot fight between Goon and PIBC in NOL TAC M9. Goons came out ahead in the ISK war with an estimated 22 billion in kills versus 3.5 billion in losses. However, they did not destroy the station. It has since gone back into shield reinforcement and is likely to be hit again soon. Pantheon and MC also hit a PIB station this week. It looks like PIBC is not good at making friends. There is an insta-warp exploit. I'm not going to explain how to use it, just want you all to keep in mind that using exploits is a bad thing and can possibly end in consequences. Play fair and play smart. This week's recruitment ads, we got HAND Guiding Hand Social Club, a member of one of the largest coalitions in the game, Aquarius Coalition. They are looking for PvE pilots to take advantage of their payout system for special anoms, PvP pilots to take part in the largest battles EVE Echoes has, industry pilots to use their mineral and ore buyback programs, and new bros who want to learn the deep end of EVE content. Our alliance ad is still the Pantheon Alliance, interviewing more potential member corps. Move your corp to some excellent nullsec space and fly with thousands in a massive coalition. Be a part of something big, get rich, and control a region along with well-organized, friendly, and efficient allies. There's a link to the hand Discord in the description. Email us if you want to hear your corp or alliance advert here. This week's bounty target, TFW. Last seen in Syndicate. 30 million ISK bounty. Usually flying a stabber. How to collect is in the show notes, so check it out there. This week's tip topic, ranges and tanks. What do they mean? You should know the differences between your chosen weapon classes' two distinct flavors. You should also know the differences between armor and shield tanking, or passive versus active tanking. So let's take Minmatar medium cannons, for example. There's autocannons and strike cannons. You have one option that's much shorter range, much better tracking, fast firing, and higher damage per second. Then you have another option that has much higher range, much worse tracking, slower firing, and higher volley damage. You do not ever want to mix the two, and you want to use the right tool for the situation. The short-range weapons generally track and hit smaller, faster things easier and do more consistent damage, but you have to make sure you can get up close, personal, and survive. The sniper weapons are better at deleting things in one volley from safer range, but they are screwed when something fast makes it up close. Likewise, armor tanks are generally considered tougher, more easily active tanked, and generally better, but they're much slower. Shield tanking is more fitting for passive tank and hit and run tactics, and works out better on kiting style ships. Look into the differences in what your boat benefits from, and make it a job specific ship, not a jack of all trades. Alright, this week we are talking to Zach. Not every EVE experience is necessarily a good one. Not everybody sticks to the game. Zach, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. So you tried both EVE Echoes and EVE Online and did not stick around.
That is correct, yes.
Well, what made you try both Eves in the first place?
So I tried both Eves because my friends were playing them, and I mean it does look kind of interesting. So I was a little interested, but it was mostly uh, because my friends were playing it.
Well, you were interested enough to come back to Echoes, or did you try them both at the same time?
I tried Eve. I want to say like 4 years ago ish, and I played it for about a week, and it was fun. But it didn't. For some reason, I just didn't stay with it. And then with the new one on the phone, I tried that for about 30 minutes in the tutorial, and it just couldn't hold my attention for some reason. Not sure why.
By tutorial, are you talking about the very handholdy, voice-overed, the weird bit at the immediate beginning?
I don't know if I guess I got bored is the best way to describe it. And I may end up going back and trying it again, but it just kind of felt like I was forcing it to like it, and it just kind of lost interest. So I guess maybe it was too handholdy.
I've never heard that in relation to Eve. No, the that intro tutorial, just so you know, is over pretty quick and has pretty much no bearing on the game whatsoever. Just make sure you know how to tap. After that, it is Eve. There is no hand holding.
I think I know why it turned me off so much is because I've played quite a few games lately that have had similar hand-holding tutorials, and so I think it made me kind of eye roll, like, again, really?
That I definitely get. I can't stand my other, and they're definitely a staple of mobile games, but after the weird voiceover part, it's gone.
Yeah, so I might try it again to see if it can suck me in. I mean, it did suck me in. The original game did suck me in for a week before, so obviously I liked it to a certain extent. Just wasn't enough to long term play it.
Well, since most of your experience then is EVE Online, what did you like about it?
I liked navigating into wormholes. I think that was mostly what I was doing. And then a friend of mine named John was like blowing my ship up randomly to teach me lessons. That was kind of amusing, but mostly the wormholes.
Hey, your buddy just kept potting you. All right. Well, the wormholes are not currently in the game. They're in one of the future updates coming up. They've been rolling out bits and aspects over time. Did you get into a corporation, alliance, anything like that?
I don't think I joined anything.
Most people, like, the biggest thing about Eve is the close community of more adult friends from all over the world that they make. I can see, I mean, there are solo people, but by and large, it's a very social game, so you're kind of missing out a lot if you don't go down that avenue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you were never in a corporation, did you try, say, the usual stuff like mining, ratting, mission running?
Yeah, I did a little bit of mission running, but I was mostly just exploring black holes. Is how I spent like 95% of my time. I got fixated on it for some reason.
The exploration in Eve is it's pretty fun and interesting. Did you do the hacking and archaeology minigames?
I don't think so. No.
That's how you get the good loot. What'd you do in the wormholes then?
I would go to. There was a few times where I went in and there'd be like a bunch of red, angry NPCs, and then I would turn right the fuck back before I got destroyed. And then there were some empty ones, and I want to say I found like a few capsules or artifacts or something along those lines. I did have a few adventures into some solar system where there was something to explore, but a lot of times it was just like empty, dead solar systems.
Those angry red NPCs were sleeper rats, and they will fuck you up.
Yeah, yeah. When 100 of them turn and like, oh, someone came through the wormhole. It's like, yes, and I'm going right back, right now. Goodbye.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing then you didn't do, say, manufacturing or research, any kind of PvP.
Yeah, it was mostly just the wormholes and trying to level up certain skills that I don't even remember now.
Is there something either Eve could have that would definitely bring you back?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I was interested. Weren't they going to put out like an Eve sister game on a planet or something where you're running around shooting and it's a little bit more from the person's perspective as opposed to being in a ship? That did pique my interest, but I don't even know if that ever came out or not.
That was Dust. That was on the PS3, and it no longer exists.
Ah, okay.
I'm guessing you didn't put any refineries down on planets then? No market warfare?
Nope.
Haul anything around?
I think I did it for a few missions, but they were like hold your hand missions, newbie missions.
What about spy work? Well, I guess not if you weren't in a corp.
No.
Yeah, so no PvP, so no bounty hunting.
Right.
Well, do you think you gave either Eve a fair shake then?
I mean, in some way, yes. In some way, no. I mean, I did play it for a week, but on the other hand, I mean, it's like a game that massive with that much to do. You know, I'm aware that I barely scratched the surface, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you either enjoy a game and you want to continue playing it, or you don't. So I think I summed it up. But I would sum it up for me as I did enjoy it, but then I kind of didn't feel like doing any more, even though I was aware that there was way more to do.
Fair. Is it UI being a problem, or too much to do that you lost, or not enough guidance? Just not enough like rapid action? What would be your chief detractors?
Maybe not enough rapid action. Maybe just too much to do. I think most people would think of Eve as a little bit overwhelming at first, and then there's things I like about the way the ships move around, and then there's things that I don't like. Like I get it that it's far more realistic than other games, but then I guess sometimes it would be nice just to like grab control of the spaceship and just move it around yourself more like I guess Squadrons is just a quick example.
Well, you can manually fly by double tapping or double clicking.
Good to know.
Yeah, instead of, say, orbiting somebody you're tackling, especially if you're trying to get in close range, if you have a frigate and you're trying to not get insta-popped, you can zigzag by double clicking or double tapping and move kind of laterally. So it makes you much harder to be hit by their guns while you close the distance. Or if you want to remain cloaked in your stealth bomber and you want to navigate around asteroids instead of being decloaked by them, you're going to want to do that manually. So if it's not rapid action for you, would you consider trying PvP?
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm still worth giving it another go, but also there's a lot of other games that are kind of on my list because there's a lot of games to play right now.
Definitely. And everybody in Eve takes breaks here and there. If you set your skills to train, you can at least come back like every 24 hours just to re-up your skill training and check on your planetary. Maybe put market orders in, make money off of them. So you can still be accomplishing things in Eve even when you're not spending much time in it. What kind of games do you play otherwise? Are they dramatically different? I mean, most things are.
Yeah, they're pretty different than Eve. I mean, pretty much everything is. So I picked up Baldur's Gate 3, which has been very amusing, and I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 again because a group of my friends started playing that, and it is a very fun game to play with other people. So that's kind of the social element going there. And then I've been playing various VR games like Squadrons, a few others. So I guess I've been I've been on a roll of immediate action games lately. Like even Baldur's Gate, there's a lot of it's strategic and it's slow in that respect, but there are constantly fighting, and same thing with the fantasy MMO. Same thing with Squadrons. So I guess I'm kind of in the rapid shooting mode at the moment.
Would it help if I told you I got 35 kills in half an hour? That was 2 days ago. just take a cheap frigate with a disruptor. Go looking for trouble in NoSec. You will find it. It's fast and violent.
That does sound appealing.
So you heard about the big battles. Did you hear about the battle with 1,200 people in one system in Echoes?
In Echoes, I don't think so. I think most of what I heard was like giant Russian raids against Russia versus everyone else type of situations that sounded pretty epic.
EVE Online, 5,000-10,000 people in one system happens. But for a mobile game, having 1,200 people in one system and hundreds more trying to get in, all in one fight, that's someone like me, that sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, it's impressive.
Would you generally ward other people away from EVE? If you're considering giving Echoes another shot, you think it's something you would recommend to other people at least giving it a chance?
Yeah, I would say give it a go. You know, I know a lot of people that like it. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it seems to be generally well received. So I would definitely tell people to at least try it.
And if you're thinking about giving it a second go, would you try most of the things you missed out on, like corporations, PvP, and so on?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I guess I'd get in there and see what's going on. Other than the black hole navigation part of the game that's not in the mobile version yet, so that wouldn't be an option. So I'd have to probably pick something else. So yeah, I would probably pick maybe the espionage or the PvP aspects. Those sound kind of interesting.
Well, depending on where you are in EVE, and this goes for either EVE, undocking is consent to PvP. It's just more about whether you actively go looking for it or not. Take it from an old pirate. Piracy is awesome.
Well, I have always had the itch in a PvP game to let myself go and just be a complete bastard, but I can just never quite bring myself to do that in any game. But maybe it's EVE. Maybe I could do it in EVE.
You haven't really lived until you've made somebody sit still because they can't leave because you have disruptors on them, have them in structure, and then demand that they get on your Discord, and then you make them sing for their life for half an hour straight.
Yeah, I've heard of that happening. Sounds quite amusing.
After that, of course, you still pod them because it's funny. Well, from what you were telling me before, it just seemed like EVE was absolutely not your cup of tea and you weren't going to come back to it. But if you think it's worth a second go, maybe try different aspects of the game, I think you're open-minded enough you might find something you enjoy there.
Yeah, I might give it another go. I'm gonna have to. I got a few games on my list that I want to cross off first, but sooner or later, everyone gets a gap in between games, and I'll probably give EVE another go. See if it can suck me in this time.
Well, I think for all of you that are on the fence about it or turned off from it, maybe consider giving it a second chance, giving different activities a try, finding a good community to fly with. It's actually pretty rewarding. All right, Zach, well, I appreciate you coming and talking with us, and hopefully I'll see you out there in New Eden.
Sounds good. Take care.
What happens when two shiny faction frigates meet? El Chavo and his Dramiel ran into Blessed Blake's crewer, leaving the crewer at 1% structure and the Dramiel not but a 880 million killmail. With proper mutual respect, there were good fight messages exchanged, as everyone should. Nice fight, guys. Well, that's all we got for this week. For a deep dive of the week's most important stories and the week in review, check out the EVE Echoes weekly news update on YouTube at Echoes from the Front, linked in the show notes. If you want to hear your killmails, bounties, corporate alliance ads, or even your own voice as a guest of the week, email us at emailtheslap@gmail.com. If you enjoy the pod, consider telling people you fly with about it. We don't really advertise, so most of our listeners are from word of mouth. If you're extra awesome, You can also leave a review on Apple Podcasts and warm this old pirate's cold, dead heart. Until next week, fly safe.